Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Shannan Mondor. She is a transformational mentor, a best-selling author, public speaker, podcast host, and a TEDx speaker. Welcome, Shannan. How are you?
Oh, gosh, Brad, let me tell you, I'm fantastic.
Excellent. I love that. I love that response. And I'm so happy to have you here. I'm looking forward to jumping in and sharing all the things Shannan, and about your beautiful journey, your story, and the incredible light you put out into the world through the work you do. So with that being said, let us jump right in. How long have you been working as a transformational mentor, and what is a transformational mentor?
So I've been working as a transformational mentor for about a year and a half, and I have my own programs that I've designed. A transformational mentor for me is somebody that, like me, woke up one day and said, how in the hell did I get here? And the reason I say that is because my book is actually called that. So I came from a family. Yeah, I did. My book was called How in the Hell Did I Get Here? Forever Changing the Genetic Blueprint. So I came from a family of addiction, mental illness, and abuse. And we all have those pivotal moments, whether you come from a family of abuse or whatever it is. There's not one specific thing that you wake up to that morning. There could be a collaboration of different things, right? So when it comes for transforming, that's when you kind of look at yourself and say, how in the hell did I get here? Mm-hmm. What do I need to go forward? What do I want in life? And then I'm the one that comes in and helps you. And I give you the tools to guide you to your greatness in life. And there's tools, but we'll get into that.
So what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
Because through my trauma, I've truly found that is where my life purpose is. And I see where I was to where I am now. And the biggest thing that I can see is I was suicidal. I had hit rock bottom. Like I had been the bottom of the barrel for many years. And I didn't even know that until I actually had contrast, which was knowing what I want and what I don't want. And with that contrast, that's how I figured that out. Because I discovered that there are so many things in life that I don't know. There's so much goodness out there. And I felt very unworthy, but I didn't know it at that time. I had a lot of shame attached to me. There was all these different feelings and emotions that were going on. And I just woke up one day and it was, if anybody can feel what I feel now and to know that you deserve all the goodness in life, that's what keeps me going forward. And it was a big pivotal moment when I actually discovered that. And it was like, wow. Because we are so worthy of all the goodness in life. We just need to know that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Now, I love and I find it very interesting that you chose and used the title of mentor as opposed to coach. What was the logic or thinking behind that decision, and why did you choose the word mentor over coach?
The reason I chose mentor is because I look at all of the mentors within my life. For example, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, and all of them have gone through some aspect in their life where it was an actual healing journey. Mm-hmm. And through their healing journey, you have to experience the feelings and the emotions that are all attached behind that. From there, that's where you teach. It's through your experiences. I have experienced so many things in my life. And to have that connection with your individual client or whatever it is, and to feel what they're going through, that was the biggest thing, because I truly believe that mentorship is all about that. It's where I look at a coach, it's a specific skill with a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And that coach as well too learned that skill.
Right.
Right? They learned that skill and they're teaching that skill to other students. Where with the mentorship, you experienced it and you have to go within and you have to draw that out.
I had someone explain to me that a coach is, and she used a soccer analogy. She says a coach is the one standing on the sidelines telling you what to do. The mentor is right there on the field beside you, playing with you.
Absolutely. And that is, I got chills because that's so true. It's so true. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned you came from a family of addiction and trauma and all the things. So was there a pivotal moment or catalyst moment in your life that led you to become a transformational mentor? And if so, would you mind sharing what that was?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was also during that day that I'm looking at my life totally and completely, and I'm thinking, what do I want in life? Where do I want to go? How do I want to be a mentor? And I wanted to be a good mother. I wanted to be a good wife. I wanted to be alcohol free. I didn't know exactly then what I wanted, right? Because that's all a journey all in itself.
Yeah.
But I had also looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, I came into the light of the generational addiction that was in our family. And it was the complete generational trauma. And the only way that you can change trauma within your family is that one person has to feel it and was willing to feel it. And I was willing to feel it. I was willing to go through the journey of healing myself. So that was a huge transformation for me. I didn't know what that would entail. I didn't know that I would have to have many breakdowns to have a breakthrough. And I didn't know that all my triggers were the areas that I needed to heal the most, right? And that's what triggers are there for. That was huge for me because I knew that what was normalized my entire life, I had to stop because I was normaling that aspect into my children's life and I couldn't do it anymore. There was no way because I was so afraid that my children would become addicted to alcohol or drugs, or whatever it was, because we're fourth generation in my family. It was in my father. I don't even know before that, right?
Yeah.
My father, it was me, my brothers, and my sisters' addiction of some form, mental illness, whatever. It's gone into my nieces and nephews, and now it's gone into my greats. And it was like I couldn't have that for my children. I had to save my children and the generations coming forward.
How did your family members react to your withdrawal from all of that?
I'll be forthcoming. I had to save myself. So I also had to no longer have them within my life because a lot of them are still in denial. There's just so many aspects that are happening. And in order to save myself and save my children, I can't normalize the toxicity any longer.
Yeah.
We're all on a journey, right? And that's
for sure.
That they have to figure out. I can be an example to them, but because I'm so forthcoming about everything, my thoughts, feelings, emotions, I speak my truth now. There's a lot of denial still there. A lot of them do not want to face the pain, the fear. They feel the shame and everything too. But, all I can do is praise and send them love. And at the same time, I had to release them as well. It's been a hard journey for sure.
I'm sure it has. That couldn't have been easy. I mean, they're your family, but for your own sanity, for your own safety, for your kids, for everybody, you had to do what you had to do.
But also with my work too, I know that individuals are in your life a season and a reason, right?
Yeah.
And we are all here on this earth to learn from each other. And once that learning lesson is done, you need to release them so then you can bring more beautiful people into your life. And that's
create space.
It does. And that's how you elevate vibrationally as well too. And
Absolutely.
I understand that. So if I look at the spiritual aspect of things and take my ego out of it, I see the whole picture.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
True. So how have those experiences helped to shape you both personally and professionally, would you say?
Oh gosh, they've made me such a strong individual. has taken me be anything I ever thought that I could possibly become or accomplish. I know now that there's absolutely no limits with me. I just even look at myself within the last 2 years. It just literally blows me away. And when something comes up where I'm fearful, that's where I know too, oh my gosh, Shannon, you got to just go through it. You got to fight that fear because there is such a huge learning lesson in there. And once you get to that other side of that learning lesson, that's an experience that you get to teach your clients.
Yeah.
That's going to take you to a higher elevation. That's going to bring more people into your life that is going to amaze you and teach you. And I just get so excited about that, right? And that's one thing I really teach my children. Get out there, that's a good stuff.
Fear is good. Absolutely it is.
Good. Yes. Yeah.
Now, when it gets to the point where it cripples you, then that's a whole other story. But I think
that's a whole different story. That's where you got to look within and say, okay, why is it that it's crippling me?
Yeah.
Am I being a people pleaser? Am I being a chameleon? That's when the outside world has controlled you. That's exactly what's happened.
But I think a healthy dose of fear is good for you.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
It keeps us grounded too.
It does. Yeah.
For sure. Now, in your experience, what are some of the most common obstacles that people face when seeking transformation, and how do you guide them through the challenges?
The biggest thing people look at when it comes to transformation is they don't really get that it's a process and it takes a long time and you got to keep on going and going. There's a desire and a will that you need to keep on going. You just don't transform overnight.
No.
It's months. And a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but there does the pop-ups of they're not good enough, or they have doubt, or they have shame, or whatever. And that's where I come in and I'm like, no, you know what? You are worth it. Why are these feelings popping up? Because there's always a little feeling that pops up. And what I do is I'm like, okay, let's get into the identity aspect of this. Where did these feelings actually come from? They're not your feelings. Because that's resistance. And that's how you know that they're not your feelings. So let's go back in time. Let's go back to your childhood. Because I could go back to my childhood right when I was in the potato patch when I was only about 2 years old with my grandparents. And I can remember that time where I first felt shame and abandonment, right? And then that gives, take them back to their timeline and they're like, oh, okay. Then they can look at it that way. And then they can forgive themselves. For feeling that way, but then they can also forgive the individuals around them that made them feel that way.
Yeah. Beautiful. So what is your definition or idea of transformation, and what does that word mean to you personally?
You have to embody. You really have to embody transformation. You have to become that individual that you see in your mind's eye, and you have to take action steps, and you have to have the will and desire to become that. I may not have that certain amount of money or whatever it is, or me being on that ultimate stage that I want to, but I've got it in my mind's eye and I take action steps every single day to get there. I'm embodying it. I'm feeling it. I see it. I've got that desire. I can taste it. Just as long as I am moving forward and transforming my life and my thoughts and my feelings and emotions, it will come, because our thoughts do become our reality, good or bad.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to have the self-awareness to recognize those thoughts.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah.
What are the key differences in your mind between change and transformation? And why is understanding this distinction crucial for personal growth?
Like I said, transformation is living it, embodying it, being it. Change to me, a lot of times, is just a thought.
Okay.
And that's how I kind of view it.
Okay. Can you discuss then, as we just mentioned, actually, the importance of self-awareness in personal transformation and some of the techniques that you use to enhance that in your clients?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. So you have to know what you want. That's the biggest thing in life. And you ask the majority of people out there, and a lot of them don't know what they want. They do know what they want, but they can't be really descriptive. And that's the biggest thing, is you have to know what you want. You have to.
Yeah.
Because how can you go forward? And you have to see it in the mind's eye, and you have to believe that you truly deserve that as well. But there also has to be that aspect of spirit, knowing that there is something better for you out there. There is a connection between you and the earth, that you are a vibrational being, that there is the law of attraction, because what you see around you is what you attracted. and the knowingness and willingness to go from there. And then from there, there is also, like I said, there has to be the embodiment of knowing. You have to become that. And with the intellectual mind as well, too, you have to know that the connection that your thoughts do become your reality. But we also have to go deeper than that. You have to know about your subconscious and conscious mind, because there are beliefs that have been instilled in us from years and years. And that's what our personality was conformed from. And then you even go further. Are those beliefs that were locked into you serving you, or are they enabling you? And if you when you discover that out, which is all a part of the self-awareness too, then you can change those beliefs. So then you can create whatever you want to come within your life.
And make it happen for yourself. Yeah, the self-awareness piece is so key. Like you said, the universe doesn't distinguish between bad or good thoughts. It's what you're thinking is going to come too.
Absolutely.
So you have to be aware.
And that's the biggest thing. If people really understood about vibration, say, for example, me, I was born into a low vibration because there's levels of vibration.
Right.
And I was born into the lowest of low vibration, which was addiction. And then, so from there, within addiction, what is there? There's depression, there's anxiety, all of that, right? So even though I was just little and I was born into that vibration, I'm still attracting all of these things into my life. And even as I grew into my teenage years and stuff like that, I was still at that low vibration because of how I viewed myself. But it wasn't until I had my awakening of awareness years later that I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have control of what my vibration is. And law of vibration is a primary law. From there is what you attract. You can control what you attract. So if people understood that, number one, and if they understood identity, number two, you've got it made.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got it made, right?
Yeah. What are some of the most significant misconceptions about transformation that you encounter, and how do you address them?
That they can just do it overnight. They really do. And they're not willing to do the work, right? They want it done, or they want other people to do it for them. They don't understand that this is in-depth work. And there's such a unraveling of self-discovery. And a lot of times it hurts so many people that they just want to stay in that denial aspect of things. And that's,
as you said, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work.
But if you're committed and if you want to make changes within your life, then you'll do it. But the biggest thing, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And my why was so strong, and it's still strong because you never lose that why. That is my number one focus. My why is because I wanted to change my life, because I know that I am worth it and I can have anything in this world if I put my mind to it. And you know what? I'm teaching my children that. My children and my future grandchildren, and the legacies on.
It's your North Star.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Resistance is often a significant barrier to change. So how do you help your clients identify and overcome resistance in their journey towards transformation?
The biggest thing is for them to recognize that what they're doing or what they've been doing doesn't work. It hasn't worked. So at what point do you just say, you know what? I got to move forward? Because if they really want help, then they'll do it. And that's the thing, is to make them realize the realization of you are worthy.
Everything starts here within us.
It really does. It really does. How bad do they want it? Back to why. Why do you want it?
Absolutely.
And if your why isn't strong enough, you really need to find that why, because that's what's going to keep you going over and over again.
For sure. What is your perspective on the interplay between mind, body, and spirit in achieving holistic transformation?
Oh, they all have to be in balance. There's literally no question. Like when you look at the mind, the intellectual mind, that's where you got to go deep into your subconscious and conscious mind. Like I said before, like these beliefs that have been carried on for generation to generation, are they serving you? If they're not, then let's change them. Your body is your vessel. Your body is telling you everything that's going on within your mind. You know what I mean? Like if you're suppressing or whatever, your body's going to tell you. But I'm very in tune with that as well. And the spirit, oh my gosh, you have to have that connection with spirit, because that's where you're getting your intuitive hits. That's where you're getting your creativity. That's what's moving you forward. So that they all have to be intertwined.
And embody them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do you incorporate the concept of gratitude into your mentoring, and what impact have you seen it have on the transformational journey?
Oh, gratitude is one of the biggest things because you have to look around you and you have to start being grateful for everything that you do have. And at the beginning, I'll be honest with you, when I first started out with my journey, it was very hard. I actually kind of felt maybe silly or ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just even looking at like just the simplest things, whether it's materialistic wise or whatever it was. And once I got into that mode of I'm grateful, but there was still that little, am I grateful? Or is this deserving of me? Or, do I deserve this? Or whatever it was, right? So the ego really got in there. And once I came to the realization that I am deserving of everything, the love that comes from gratitude out from you will come back tenfold. And it just opens up everything about you. And people can see when you're grateful for the littlest things. And you have to be grateful in order to receive. That's what people don't understand. You have to be grateful in order to receive.
Absolutely. And you also have to give in order to receive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have to be grateful for even the smallest things.
Yeah.
And to express that gratitude, whether you express it in your head, out loud, write it in a journal, whatever it is, expression of gratitude is so important.
And this is one little test that I do with my clients is when someone comes up and compliments you and said, oh, you look beautiful in that color or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. The majority of us will always say the negative. Oh, whatever it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how do you respond to that? And that's the question I say. How do you respond to that? Now with me, when people compliment me, I'm like, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much because I have to be so grateful for that. And that's just a little test. But you know what? It's a very impactful test. And a lot of people have a hard time accepting the slightest compliment, which in form is a gratitude back from others, right? And it's very powerful.
But when we deflect those compliments from the people, we're also not giving that person the validation of what they've just said to you. It's it's a slight against that person in a way as well.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah.
So we have to be...
It's also teaching us to look at others and to compliment them and to see the beauty in others and to see the beauty around us.
For sure. Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of letting go of old identities and beliefs in the transformation process and how you guide your clients through that?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Identity. I love identity. And I love speaking about identity. And that's what I do a lot of my public speaking about as well. And workshops is because I carried the identity that I was dumb. I was stupid. I was never going to amount to anything. And the list goes on and on. And I carried that identity for 50 years. But when I had my awakening to awareness, that was when I realized, oh my gosh, that's not my identity. That was my abuser's identity. So he instilled that into me, but go even deeper. It was the identity that his abuser, which was my father, had instilled into him. So identity very much can be generational. That's one thing that people really need to understand. And then so once you realize what that identity is that you have within you, which is false, that's also where you can shift and change those beliefs within inside of you to become the person that you want to be and to find that greatness within you as well.
Again, it takes the work.
It takes the work. It does take the work.
But that's the piece that people don't want to do, is they don't want to do the work. They just want the transformation, as you said, to happen. Yeah.
You have to feel. You have to shed those tears. You know,
For sure.
you have to have those awakening of awareness and just be like, oh my gosh. And it's so funny because I was actually at a retreat here about a year ago and I have accomplished a lot. And I was like, it was at that retreat, I was actually doing an exercise and I stood up and I was talking about what I had written down. And my mentor said to me, Shannan, I said to my mentor, why would I say that? And she goes, Shannan, why did you say that? And it was in that moment that I realized that I had thought for all of those years, up until that actual moment, that I was stupid.
Wow.
I truly believed that I was still stupid. And that was why I couldn't unlock certain areas within my life. And it was from that moment on, I never looked back. I was like, I am not stupid and I am not going to carry that identity that I am. I know what I want and I know where I'm going and I'm not stopping now. But that was a huge pivotal moment. And I broke down because I couldn't believe that I had thought that and that I had carried that within me.
That is powerful.
It was so powerful. It was just unbelievable. And another powerful thing was there was videographers and photographers there at that time too. So they actually captured the moment that I had that awakening to awareness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Those moments they change your entire life. They change the trajectory, everything.
Oh, they do. And it was like, then after that, the confidence, the strength that came in, the power within me totally shifted.
I love it. What is your approach to guiding others through their transformational journeys, and what techniques or practices have you found that are most effective?
Okay, first of all, I take them on their journey. The number one journey is we have to figure out what they want. Once they figure out what they want, then we go even deeper. We start visualizing it. We start feeling it. And then we go through the process of looking at who they are now and who they will be once they have that aspect of them that they can actually see. And that takes a lot of faith and a lot of belief. And you know what I mean? Then we get into, you know what I mean? And then we get into affirmations and the believing of themselves. That's all a part of the shifting of everything, right? And like I said, there's always that self-doubt, shame, all of it, right? So then I also take them back into their timelines because everything always starts from our childhood. And then I would take them back there where these belief systems that are stopping them, where they came from. Once they can see that they're not true, that they're only made up, then we go into more of the belief systems of that too. But so that's the identity aspect of things too. But then there's also a dominant feeling that we carry throughout. And then what is your dominant feeling when you wake up every morning, or how you're living your life on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis? There's always a dominant feeling. What is that dominant feeling? If it's a low vibration feeling, then we have to switch that to a high vibration feeling. I also teach them all about vibrations, the levels of vibration, because you have control of that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole process that I go through, and that's why you just don't do it overnight.
Yeah, for sure.
I work with them and we talk about different aspects and we really build a bond.
Yeah.
There's lots of questions that they ask. There's lots of times where I get them to draw out their feelings and emotions. And so it is a process for sure. When my Fulfillment and Faith program is a 6-month program.
Can you tell us a little bit about the program?
Yeah. So that's basically the whole.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a whole process that we go through. And that's for somebody that wants to totally and completely change. And you've got that visualization of what you want to be. Then you know what, I take you through the steps of how to get there.
Okay. Beautiful.
And with me, once you've done that, the Fulfillment and Faith program, it just doesn't end from there. If you've got questions months later or whatever, like I just don't, no, okay, it's done.
You're cut off. That's it. We're done.
No, by that time we've built a bond. We've built a friendship, seen how you've excelled. You know what I mean? There's a community that's built and we travel this life together.
Beautiful.
You know? Yeah.
I want to jump in and discuss the whole TEDx thing. Obviously, I mean, getting a TEDx talk is a big deal and a dream for a lot of people, a goal for a lot of people. Was that something that was a bucket list item for you?
So it was so funny because after I wrote my book, I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, the shit that I've been through, is that normal? And then it was, no, you know what? I've gone through a lot. So I know that there's a reason why I've gone through all of this. And I know that it's to teach people. And then kind of from there, as I became more public, and then, you know what I mean? People are hearing about my book and more things were approaching me. A lot of people were saying, I always knew I was going to be a leader. I didn't know how, but I just had that feeling within me. I've known it for many years. And I just became more confident in myself and everything else. And then I had more and more people say to me, you should do a TED Talk. And I'm like, I would love to do a TED Talk. I want to be on the stage. I've got so much to teach people from my experiences. And I know that. And then it was so funny because I always ask the universe or God for whatever. And then there came a pivotal moment of last June where I was like, okay, you know what? I do want to be a public speaker. I do want to do a TED Talk. Universe, please guide me. Help me out with this aspect of my journey that I need to go to. And if you ask God, it will always come to you. You just have to have the awareness that it's there at that present moment. And so I've got my own podcast as well too, right? I had this gentleman come on, and I always do a meet and greet prior to see whether or not they fit the podcast. And it just so happened that I always tell my story first, and then he started. And then when I was done my story, he goes, "Oh, Shannan, you should do a TED Talk." And I'm like, "Oh, I know, but I don't know. It's a huge process, and I don't even know where to begin." Then he told me his story. And then at the end, I'm like, "So what do you do?" He goes, I'm a public speaking coach, and I get people onto the TED Talk stage and all this other stuff. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Daryl, this is why you're here." So the next day, we had a conversation strictly on the TED Talk, and then my journey began. I hired him to help me through the process. I knew in that moment, I'm like, that's why I'm here.
There's your sign.
That was my, and it didn't take long for God to give it to me. So and to do a TED Talk, it was quite the journey, and it is the best experience I have ever had. Awesome. When I walked on that stage in Las Vegas, it was like I was home.
I remember I talked to you that weekend. You were doing your TED Talk.
Because I was in Las Vegas. Yeah, that was just a day or two prior to me hitting the stage.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Can you share a little bit about your TEDx talk, the title, the inspiration behind writing the talk, all of the things?
Absolutely. So my TED Talk is called Awakening Curiosity, a new path from addiction to lifelong growth. So what I talk about within my addiction is not only my personal experience, but also how just before you pick up that, whatever you're addicted to, it like I say, double-decker sandwich or that drink or whatever it is, right? Get curious, because it's within those feelings of curiosity where you're going to shift. So I talk about the cycles of addiction. And it's when I spoke on stage there, when I was done between my personal journey and the curiosity of what goes out there and how I belong to the wine mom culture and how normalizing alcohol within our society, how it's affecting everybody, how it affected me, it affects my family, all of it. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, and I ended up getting a standing ovation. And the more that I seen that people were not just listening to my words, they were feeling what was the energy that was coming out of me. I became powerful.
Feeding off their energy.
And even the men were crying. And then after I was in the first session, and then when I came out into the front foyer, I had my books and everything there, and I was just handing people my books and I was signing copies for them. There were people who were like, "Oh my God, your story resonates so deeply on one level or another," whether they knew someone that has an addiction or they themselves were struggling with it, whatever. It was just so impactful and absolutely beautiful. It was life-changing. Yeah.
Incredible. As you mentioned, you're a best-selling author. You wrote a book. You're a best-selling author. I'd love for you to speak a little bit about the book you've written, the title. I know you mentioned it, but if you can say that again, the subject matter of the book and what that experience was like for you sharing and writing your story and putting it out there for the world.
Absolutely. So my book is called How in the Hell Did I Get Here? Forever Changing the Genetic Blueprint. And I must say that I just got notification yesterday that I received an award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's for the International Impact Book Award. And the subject that I won under was for the mental and spiritual healing. So I'm really excited. Because now I go down to Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to be receiving that award in November. Oh, it's a black tie affair and red carpet, and I get to put a gown and everything else. I'm going to receive my award in front of everybody. And the book basically is my whole entire life, my journey about how I grew up in addiction and everything else, my teenage, my adolescent years, how I was a people pleaser, a chameleon, how I let others control my life. Literally my whole life journey and my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then that's the first part of my book. And it's very raw. It's very real. I talk about my feelings about when I had lost my baby, just everything that brought me to the brink of what brought me to my addiction, how I folded into my addiction because it was years to suppress, right? And then so it's the whole journey. And then the second part of my book is my healing journey, how I had to forgive, just looking at the different aspects of my life and how I had to forgive my brother who was my abuser, my mom, just looking at who I was as well, because I was the biggest one. I had to forgive myself the most because I wasn't an angel. I had to take responsibility and ownership of everything that I had done too. So I go through that process as well too. And it was so funny because I actually had no intentions of writing a book. Really didn't. And then it was during the process of COVID there where I could see how just everything was just falling apart. And then it was after that, it was during the whole COVID thing was when I was like, oh my God, like people need help out there. And I was already on my journey with healing.
Yeah.
So I kept on thinking to myself, what is one thing that I could do to help people? So what I started doing is I started doing inspirational quotes every single day. And then I started doing live videos. But what was happening is I started that in March. And by December, people were like, I was getting like a huge following. And people were like, oh my God, Shanny, thank me for my quotes, or it really resonated with them. And they're thinking that I'm the best thing ever, right? Put me on a pedestal. And then what was the brink for me was I received 2 emails from 2 individuals that were on the brink of committing suicide. And what stopped them going forward with ending their life was my quotes. They would go onto my Facebook page every single day just to see what I would post.
Wow.
And that was really powerful and impactful. And I was just like, oh my God, but I'm lying to them because they think that my life is so amazing and they're putting me up on a pedestal, but they don't realize that my life is just as screwed up as they are because they didn't know about my past. They didn't know that I went to treatment. They didn't know that I was suicidal. They didn't know anything about me. So that was when I decided to do a live on Facebook, and there was over like 700 and some people. And it's on my YouTube channel and everything. And then that was when I decided I was going to write a book, because it was just, if there's just one person, if my quotes can save one person, I knew of 2 people, then my book, that's all I wanted is
impact.
My experiences. This is what I did. And if that will help them to get them to where they need to be or to the next step of healing, that's what I want to do. I never thought of my healing at all. And my healing didn't come until months later after my book was published that I realized, oh my God, that was actually a healing for me as well. Because I never thought of myself at all during that.
Yeah.
It was all about helping others.
And that's it. That's part of why we're all here, is to help others, to support one another. And that's part of our journey.
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
As mentioned also off the top, you're a podcast host. You mentioned that. Can you share a little bit with us about the podcast, the title, subject matter? Is it solo, interview style, a bit of both? And what inspired you to start a podcast?
So my podcast is called Fulfillment in Faith, and it's on all platforms. And what inspired me to do the podcast was really just to start to get my book out. So the first 14 or 15, might even be 16 episodes, was I read the first part of my book, which is chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
And then what I did was I talk about my thoughts, feelings, and emotions then. But I talk about my thoughts, feelings, and emotions now, like at that time when I recorded the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even the same person. Totally different perspective on just giving people an insight of, if this is how you're feeling now, maybe shift your thinking to what this might be, or whatever it is. Resonate with the experience that I had. And then from there, I was like, you know what, there's so much more that this podcast has potential. So what I started to do is, because we all have that moment of stillness when you're healing. So my moment of stillness, of course, is when I had my awakening to awareness that I talked about. So I was at road crossing. I either listen to what the divine is trying to guide me to, or I can continue in the self-loathing and addiction and all of that, right? I have people literally from all over the world that come on and they share their stories of their moment of stillness and where their journey was in their past. And a lot of it can be, it's been sexual abuse, there's been addiction, there's been sex trafficking, there's been a family member has committed suicide, or their parent, whatever it is, or someone that they dearly loved has died, and it just bring them into their self-awareness. And then from there, their journey, because we are not alone. And there are so many of us that have experienced so many things. And we really feel, I have felt that I was so alone. I didn't know where to go to. I didn't know what to do. And so it's stories like these when people listen to them and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. So you have the choice to either reach out to me or you can reach out to that individual on the podcast, because everything's all in the show notes as well too, right? And some of the members too that come on, they've never shared their story, but they want to share their story. So I give them a very safe environment for them to. Yeah. So that's what my podcast is called.
Beautiful. Thank you. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Oh gosh, my true authenticity. Seriously, what you see is what you get. I speak my truth, and vulnerability is huge. If something really resonates with me and I show my emotions, you're going to see my emotions.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that anymore. I am not afraid of that anymore. And I'm not afraid to show the love to people and give them hugs and whatever. You know what I mean? That's just who I am.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does the word success mean to you?
Success to me is not money or where you're going in life. It's just how you view yourself, you going forward, you loving yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? What was your life like before you learned it? What was your life like after learning it?
Speak your truth. I'm huge with that. And that's what I say to my children too. Speak your truth. Because before that, I was a people pleaser. Because I didn't want people to see the real me. And I was afraid that the real me people wouldn't like. But then again, I didn't know who the real me was. So all I can say is speak your truth, no matter at the expense of others, because you can't control what other people feel or what they think or what they say or what they do. The only person that you can control is you. And if you stay truthful to who you are, all those people that aren't on your path, they're all going to fall off anyways. And the true authentic people will come to you eventually.
Very true. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Oh my gosh, I just think energy, strength, confidence, self-love. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Speed.
All right, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Truth.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Be truthful. Yeah, like that. That's all I could. Trust. I'm going to say that one. Trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Vulnerability.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
All Fired Up by Pat Benatar.
I love it.
This is the words. I'm telling you, that's me. Oh, you betcha.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. You did good, Shannan. You did good. I threw in a question after I sent these over to you, so you haven't seen this one, but if other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be? Confident,
authentic, and powerful.
Beautiful. Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you and why?
So do you mean
who's impacted your life? Who's impacted your life the most, and why is their impact? Why did they impact you so much?
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, just one? I would have to say Dr. Wayne Dyer. And the reason I will say that is because I actually met him in person and he called me on stage and he blessed my stomach when I was pregnant. That man I love. And I still listen to him almost every single day.
Okay. What aspect of your personality do you think has been the most helpful in your career?
My personality, oh my gosh. People are drawn to me being so honest and through my honesty, my compassion really shows.
What is one lesson that your career has taught you that you think everybody should learn at some point in their life?
You always have to look within. Always. That's where all the answers are.
Absolutely. But we have been conditioned or told to seek out external validation, and the answers are outside. Everything is within us. Absolutely everything. It's just trusting and allowing.
That's exactly it. Yes. Yes.
If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I'm going to say regarding vibration. How important do you feel that vibration is?
Okay, go ahead.
I feel that vibration is extremely important. Like I had said early on in the interview, was the aspect of once you understand the vibration that you're in, you can shift it and you can change it to go into a higher elevation.
Okay. What is your why, Shannan?
My why is me and my children. Me first, then my children, for sure.
What is one of your biggest failures or teachable moments, and what did you learn from it?
I don't look at anything that I've done as failures. I just look at them as experiences. And if people can look at it that way, because it was through those experiences that we learn and we teach and we grow and we become the best version of ourselves that we need to be.
Absolutely. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Mel Robbins. And the reason I say that is because I love her true authenticity. She's very truthful. She speaks her mind. That's very much like me. There's no sugarcoating. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, she speaks her truth. That's for fucking sure. No bullshit.
No, and that's exactly how I am. Like I'm sorry. There's no sugarcoating. Life is a journey. Things that you go through, if there's triggers or whatever, you know what? Those are the things that you need to unravel within you.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Oh, same thing. Just be truthful to who you really are. Be honest. Yeah.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
If you have faith within yourself, you will have complete fulfillment in all areas of your life. And that's why I called my podcast Fulfillment in Faith, my one program, Fulfillment in Faith, because I have true faith within myself. And I'm a prime example now. Because I have faith in myself, I've got true fulfillment in almost every area of my life. And if I don't have fulfillment in that one area, I got to work on it because that's my responsibility. That's one of my whys.
Beautiful. Shannan, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. It was an absolute pleasure and honor to have you on the show. I appreciate you taking and making the time to be here with me and sharing a little bit about your story, your journey, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you.
My pleasure and my honor. Shannan, could you share with the audience where they can find you, where they can connect with you if they want to work with you or learn more about who you are?
Absolutely. So you can look on Facebook or Instagram, Shannan Mondor. Make sure you spell my name right. It's Shannan, and then Mondor is 2 O's, Mondor. And then you can go onto my website, www.shannanmondor.com. And if you want to book a discovery call with me, if you want to look more into my programs, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can book a pre-interview. Just go onto my website, contact me or message me through any of the social outlets from there. And I would be absolutely happy and honored to meet you for sure.
Beautiful. We'll put all the information in the show notes when we publish your episode. So thank you once again, Shannan. I appreciate you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You as well.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Shannan Mondor. She is a transformational mentor, a best-selling author, public speaker, podcast host, and TEDx speaker. Thank you so much, Shannan. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca. Follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.